Thanks for joining us for another episode of Noble Thoughts. Today we are at the University of Indianapolis, and I am joined with Tu-Chen Parr, and she is going into her junior year of high school, but she's actually having some success in the summer success camp here at the university. Tu-Chen, tell us a little bit more about how you got here. I know the camp is geared towards first-generation college students. Tell me a little bit about your family.
So with my family, both of my parents are immigrants that came here, and they worked really hard, but they still obviously struggle with English, like reading it and more complex words. So with my family, I feel like I had to deal with with the responsibility to help them out. And this is where the University of Indianapolis came from, where this summer success camp has came in and helped me know more about colleges, because I feel like with having immigrant parents and being first gen, I've struggled with knowing stuff about colleges and my future. But this camp has opened up opportunities for me, and I've been able to visit many places and see what I could do at jobs here at Indiana. And this camp has just also made me know there's people that's going to help me even if I don't have as much help from my parents because of being first gen.
So tell us a little bit about what it means to be a first-generation college student.
To be first gen, it's I feel like everyone's stressful because of college, but I feel like with me I would say maybe a different kind of stress where it's I don't know what exactly I could do, because I can't exactly rely on my parents because of the border of having immigrant parents and college and all of that, and being the first person to go in my family. So yeah, I'd say it's just really stressful, and it's also I feel like I have the responsibility to make sure I can go to college and be successful for my parents, because they weren't given that opportunity, and they've given that to me.
And tell me a little bit about the encouragement that you received from your parents.
So from my parents, they have told me about their story of how they can't go to college, and they worked so hard to come from Burma, our homeland, to America to give me and my brothers this opportunity. And even if they struggle speaking English, they learned from me and my brothers a whole different language, just to tell us that they love us, that they're going to be here to support us, and they might not know how exactly this camp works, but they're willing to make sure I go there and learn from it and always check up on me.
Now, college is expensive. Have you guys thought about funding your tuition?
My parents were able to learn the expenses of colleges, and they're thinking of saving up for me, and starting soon in a bank account just for my college. And obviously they encouraged me to look into scholarships, and I worked really hard for scholarships as well, getting good grades and just paying attention in school and seeing what scholarships I can get. And even in camp like this, that gives me around $200 is also good enough, where I'm just I'm looking into anything that can give me money so I can help my parents, and just know it's not always going to be on them. So yeah.
What does your future look like? Do you know what you want to major in yet?
Yeah, from this, I always knew I thought about business, and I had that in the back of my mind. And then when I would go to this camp this time and last summer, they opened up the field of business to me and talked to me about what jobs I can get with accounting, finance, and all of that. And I became super interested in that. So yeah, I know I want to go into business from this camp for letting me know how many jobs I can get and what I can do.
Do you know where you want to go to school or what that looks like yet?
Well, I was thinking about IUB, but now that this is my second time being here, I like the dorms, I like the buildings, I like the community here. And if it's going to be like that when I'm graduating and I'm going to go in college, I feel like this is UIndy or IUB could be one of my choices.
Tell me about what type of support you think you would need in order to be a successful college student.
I would need people to understand my struggles, not completely get it, but just understand I'm struggling and stuff if I'm a college student, and everyone goes through it and stuff. So I need someone to be kind of patient, but also be there to just be my hype man and hype me up and stuff.
And so what's your experience been like here on campus? How is it to stay in the dorm and eat in the cafeteria?
Well, at first, I never thought about dorming before when I thought about college because I always thought I'd be homesick. And even last summer, I got homesick, but right now, even if it's been like a few days, I haven't gotten homesick at all. And I enjoy being at the dorms, and I enjoy like going to like many like other places here in this like campus. And it's just nice seeing like how pretty like these places can be. So I think being here has helped me like learn. I think I want to dorm when I go to college, and I'm not gonna get homesick.
I know being around here this summer, connected to a lot of other first generation college students. What are some of the concerns that come up from you guys?
So I think we can all agree like we can like connect with each other because of how like similar our struggles are, and it's like we know how hard our parents work, so we have to like understand that for us to work, we have to work really hard in school and look at opportunities because we feel like since like our parents just came here from like Burma to America, it's hard for us to like be able to like know much about college. So we have to work really hard in school and look at other opportunities, and that's how we bond and like realize like through our struggles we'll have to like find other opportunities to help us and make sure we can like realize how hard our parents worked and what we can do with that.
Jen, what do you want other people to know that are listening right now when we're talking about being a first generation college student?
I want them to know, like, honestly, I feel like people can't really understand how much of a struggle it is for us to have, like, first generation parents. And that, like, even though, again, we're all humans, we're all a community, but still, we go through our different struggles. And with what we go through, we have to work so hard every single day because we realize our parents had to come from different countries to be here in America just to get a better life for us. They worked their whole lives just for us to get a chance that they won't have, and they know that. And I feel like other people should realize like that's like our motivation every day. We go to school, we get good grades, we take care of ourselves for our parents because of what they've done for us.
Tu Chen, thank you so much for joining us and being so open and sharing your story with us. We appreciate you here on Noble Thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here too. I was really glad that I was able to speak about like being a first gen and stuff because I feel like people don't really know about our struggles like that and that it's able to like be known now.
Thank you. Here at the University of Indianapolis, Rebecca Franks usually works in the Career Center, but this summer she's working as a part of the Summer Success Camp. Rebecca, tell us a little bit more about this camp. You guys work with first generation college students.
Yeah, absolutely. So we received a grant from the Lilly Endowment about right around 2020 to start in 2023. And it was specifically about access and inclusion on college campuses for students at younger ages, right? And so thinking about how do they start thinking about college earlier? How do they start learning about college if they don't know anything about it, right? If they are a potential first generation college student, they don't have anybody at home who is talking to them about you have to apply to college and you have to do that by this deadline. And we are blessed that we get to work with Perry Township, who have incredible employees in their high schools that help students and families do that. And so through this grant, we were able to come alongside that and say, how do we better serve our community? As a university where nearly 40% of our undergraduate students are first generation, it's really important to us that we push those barriers that have been in the way in college and university spaces for a long time of most of the people looking the same or having the same experience, and letting everyone know college and university is for everyone. And if you want to be here, we want to have you here, and we're equipped and ready to be here with you. And so that's what Summer Success Camp is all about. Students coming, trying it out, thinking about it early so that by the time they're at their senior year of high school, they at least have some idea of what might I want to do, what can I keep exploring.
So about almost 80% of your students here for the camp are first generation college students. Talk to us a little bit more about what they can expect while they're at camp. What kind of skills do they take away?
Yeah, so something that's really neat just about the camp industry across the world is that you're probably going to learn some really specific skills. There's going to be a theme to the camp that you're at, but you're also building life skills, character development, leadership development, independence. And so while they are also coming and sampling classes, things like doing a breakout room in our nursing simulation lab or using robots to code puppets to become musical instruments with our education department. We even have tying in kind of my regular year work with my regular team, a career and kind of an interests and skills inventory that they do throughout the week. And so all of that is pairing up. They're thinking about it in the classes. They're going out in the afternoons to organizations and businesses, places like Children's Museum, Elanco, One America, seeing what does this look like from classroom to career. What are my opportunities? What are the differences? What can I do if I get this college degree, and how does it make a difference? And so all of it pairs together to hopefully lead them, even if they don't have an idea yet of what they want to do. It's never the goal. We don't want to force anybody into things. That they can just think about, like, do I feel comfortable in this space? Have I met someone this week that looks like me, that has a shared experience like me? Again, for students who might be first generation, they don't have anybody at home who is sharing this. So they might not know, right, that there's somebody who had this exact same experience and they still made it through college. And that, especially UIndy, we are here to serve our community and serve them well.
I know the kids are only here on campus for about a week, but you guys pack a lot of activities into that week. I want you to tell me a little bit more about the surgery that they will see. And then they also leave with a vision board, right?
Yeah, so this year for our healthcare kind of field trip experience, because we have so many campers, it's a little difficult sometimes to get actually into a healthcare facility with the number of campers and the support staff that we have. And so Liberty Science Center is doing a live from surgery with us. So the students will actually be in this room that we're in right now, and we're going to be streaming a live kidney transplant. And there's going to be a surgeon who will be mic'd up, answering questions, explaining to them. And so, for some of them, they only know nurse and doctor in the healthcare field. And so this experience and the education pieces that Liberty Science Center has is going to help them kind of explore, hey, there's way more to healthcare, right? And that's what we're trying to do throughout the whole week. Here are majors you might not know about. Here are careers you might not know about. And these are things you can consider as well. And then in terms of vision board, we have actually today, Wednesday, our Career Center, we have a break from regular classes. The campers get to sleep in an extra hour. And they're going to come in here and do all of these just kind of professionalism and skill building stations. And all throughout the week, whether they're doing their classroom session with our Professional Edge Career Center or they're doing their Wednesday activities, they are building pieces and parts that are going to fill out their vision board. And then they have something tangible to take with them. And it can go in their locker, it can go in their bedroom, wherever they want it to go. It's just a reminder of the things they did, the ways that they challenged and pushed themselves this week, the things they learned. And hopefully it continues to inspire them in the way that we hope their camp experience does.
What is it about creating that vision that would really impact their lives forever?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you typically see two people in college. You see somebody who's like, I've known what I wanted to do since I was, 8 years old, or my family's always pushed me in this direction. And so they kind of have this pre-existing idea in the back of their head. And then you have students who are like, I know coming to college is a good thing, but I'm really still figuring it out. And both of those parties, right, belong here. But it's helping really put a name to it. And for them to be able to see it and think critically about it, they walk away and maybe in December, they don't have that like fun, oh, camp was so exciting, like the bubbles inside of them. But every time they look at that board, they see a picture of their team and their two counselors who inspired them. Or they remember stepping out of their comfort zone to make a new friend in their group. Or they remember what they wrote down as their favorite activity. And, maybe it was business and learning about the power of money. And they're like, oh yes, like that's what I want to do. And so it's really all being able to speak it, being able to see it as that constant reminder for them to circle back to when they go back and they're just in everyday life.
Talk to us about the grant that you received in order to make this camp possible here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Lilly Endowment in 2022 released an opportunity called Indiana Youth Programs on Campus, all about really helping fix the fact that Indiana has one of the lowest percentages of students that are going from high school to college. We're seeing that rate decrease nationwide, right? And we were prepared for that. We knew that was coming. And it's it's only getting lower and lower each year. And so Lilly Endowment was like, what can we do? And so they took resources and they provided an opportunity for colleges and universities across the state. And there are so many universities doing this work, so many wonderful people that I'm connected to that are doing this at different universities. And they said, hey, create summer programs, create youth programs that are on your campus to activate those students earlier. So many of them have never stepped on a campus before. You know, they don't even know, can I belong? Because they've never even seen them. And so everyone did it a little bit differently. Our kind of goal, our target was college and career exploration, because we just know, especially coming from that career center perspective, there's so much that's out there that you really don't know about unless you heard about it, you know, in school and at home. And so how do we increase that awareness and that accessibility? Lily was also really intentional in thinking about who they wanted to serve with this. And so our target students are, you know, potential first-generation college students, students of color, students from families of lower resources. And really that all compiles to think about students that when colleges and universities were first created, they were not created with those individuals in mind. And it's on us as universities to do the work to fix that. And we've come a long way, but we still have a lot of room to go. And here at UND, we're really lucky. About 40% of our undergraduate population are first-generation students. And we have a lot of resources on our campus and a lot of great people that are doing good work. But we need the community to know. And so this camp helps students that are literally in our backyard learn about that.
And you guys work with the parents as well as the students, correct?
Yeah, so it's really important, obviously, anytime that a family is dropping their student off at camp for a week with people they don't really know, that there is trust. And so through the school partnership, the school is able to introduce us to the family members, the adults of these students, so that we can start to build trust. And before a student ever registers for camp, they have to go through kind of an information session, whether it's in person or virtual, to make sure they really understand, like, what does the camp week look like, right? If you know your student's not going to be able to be up by 8 a.m., maybe it's not a right fit yet, you know, maybe not this year. And so I communicate directly with parents. We invite them to stay the whole time that their students are moving into the dorms. You know, we sometimes have extra time where we can give them tours. We do an opening session. But my favorite thing that we do with families is at the end of the week, we invite families to come for what we call a closing session. And it's essentially a mini graduation. And so, you know, we tell these students, we want to see you do this again a couple years of high school. And then we hope to see you do this in a handful of years here at UND again. But it's just for them to celebrate the fact that they made the decision to take a week off from their summer break and to come explore and learn new things.
And you're seeing that the kids are returning and some even registering to go to school here?
Yeah, absolutely. So almost half of our campers this year were in our age range to be eligible to return and chose to do so. And with the ages that we target with our camp, our first group in 2023 are now coming up on being eligible to start with us this fall. And we've already seen some of them come through our registration and orientation days. And that's been really exciting to remember their faces and them realize that they are recognized and remembered. You know, we all love being remembered. And I think that's something that UND does really well is we get to know our students individually and we work with them one-on-one. And so to have a student walk through a door who hasn't been here in 2 years maybe, and for someone to recognize their face, remember their name, that's really special.
I think what else is really cool about this program is the students get paid $200.
Yeah, so again, these were all people before me. I get to kind of execute the logistics, but when the university wrote our grant proposal that got accepted, they included in there thinking about access, right, and removing barriers. We understand that a lot of students nationwide don't get to go to camp because their families can't afford it. And so not only is camp actually free at the end of the day, students also get paid because we recognize a lot of these individuals provide childcare for their younger siblings or family members throughout the summer. And so if they're here family might be having to pay for childcare or taking time off of work. Some of them are working to be able to afford their extracurriculars or their gas. And so if they're here, they're requesting off of work. Some of them even work to contribute to their households. And so they receive $200 at the end of the week, a check in their name, to be discussed with their family about what gets done with it. Some of it, they use it to compensate for things throughout the week back home, or some of them, their families have said, hey, we've started a college savings account with this money.
Nice. Rebecca, how can we support you?
I think one of the best things that you can do is get to know people in your community, get to know youth, share your stories, right? It doesn't matter what path you took to get where you're at. Some of us choose to go to college, some of us go beyond 4 years, some folks don't, but we all have a really special story that can impact youth. And this generation, they are awake, they are ready to go and to make change and make difference. They just need people coaching them up and mentoring them. And I learn things from them every day. So also remembering that throughout multiple generations, we all have a lot to learn from one another. And we can really make this world a better place when we start listening to one another's stories, sharing with one another our hardships, our triumphs. And so thinking about who are the young individuals in your lives, in your communities that you can pour into, because they're going to be difference makers. And sometimes they just need confidence built, or they just need somebody to verbally say, hey, I believe in you, you can do this. And so no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, just don't forget that.
Rebecca Franks with University of Indianapolis Summer Success Camp. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your noble thoughts.
Thank you so much.